Hi, this is Jack from Autism Plugged In, and today we're going to take a look at Abilipad, which is an app that combines AAC with kind of the keyboard setup. And what you can do is you can take different keyboards and customize them for certain things, and then write in them with the included notepads. And I really like Abilipad, and there's a lot of creative ways that you can use the app, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Alright, and here you see there are two tabs at the top, Notepads and Keyboards. And if we look in the Notepads, you can see that you can create different pages, which is just basically where you can type things. So if I open one that I created earlier, for math, then it'll give you a blank space, and then you can type, and depending on what settings you have, it'll speak what you're typing. But first I want to take a look at the keyboards and how to use those, since that's really mainly what Abilipad is about. So here you'll see a few things. These three on the right next to the templates folder are keyboards that I have created already, but when you're creating your own, you're going to want to go into the templates folder and then choose probably the QWERTY keyboard and then build off of that. So if you tap on that, it'll bring that up. And what we have is on the bottom we have the keyboard that you're going to be building, and on the top you have what you use to build that keyboard. So, and you see there's more symbols if you swipe right and left. So here on the bottom, if you want to, let's say, make a keyboard with family members, what you can do is if you tap a key, that will be the key that you're editing. So if I tap the N key, it'll turn blue. And you should also note that you can tap two keys, and I'll do that later. If you tap two, they'll both highlight, and then you can do things with them. But let's just focus on one key first. So I'll tap the N, and then once you've selected a key, you can use the top keyboard to type in whatever you want to be inside of that key. So if I wanted to have that say mom, I would type in, and then I can unselect it by retapping the key, and then that'll say mom. And then if you're in the notepad area where I showed you earlier, if you press that key, it'll type mom and say mom. So it's really an easy way to customize AAC. And I'll talk a little bit about these buttons that are on top. Basically, they're just customizing the keyboard. So in the capital F, if you tap on that, you can change the font that shows up. I kind of like the default though, so I'm going to leave it. And the big A little a is of course the font size, so you can make that smaller or bigger depending on your preference. Here, also within these buttons, you can do more than just type in words. You can record sound, you can add pictures, and so on. So if I were to select the M key, and then I can go here, and I can record a sound, and then it'll actually play that sound when I type the key into the notepad. So that's also helpful if you want to use your own voice instead of the computer voice, or if you want to use sounds for animals and things like that. And next to that microphone there is the button with the two tablets, and that's for inserting pictures into the keyboards. So if you have the M key selected like I do, and you tap that button, you can choose pictures from either the Abilipad library or the iPad library and insert them into the key. So if I look at the Abilipad, you can see that they provide some pictures to choose from. And of course you can use your own if you pick the iPad library. Alright, and then these two buttons next to that are the merge cell and split cell buttons. So if I had, I'm selected on the M key again, and if I type maybe, and where's my space button? Dad. So I have these two separate keys. I created mom and dad. If I wanted those to be in the same key so I could just press one button and say mom and dad, I would select both of these and then use the merge cell, which is the two arrows pointing together. And then I can go in and re-edit this and add a space and customize that. And basically the split cell will make a new cell and take whatever you typed and put it into the other cell. So those are helpful. And also, for formatting reasons, you can delete cell keys by just pressing this trash can up here. So if I wanted to have this space empty to make it easier and have less keys, then I could do that, and to create more space for the keyboard. So that's really how you build the keyboards, and then we'll just take a look at some of the keyboards that I've built myself. And keep in mind there are also other options that you can go through, and maybe I'll do another video on that later if there's interest. So I'm going to go back to the notepads, and it's going to say the changes that I made. I have to check that my volume is working. So if I go back on the top to notepads, and I open up this one for communication, the first thing I want to do is go into settings, which is the cog on the top left. And here, really, the thing we might want to change is the in the preferences, you can change when things are spoken. So as it is now, it'll speak words as I type them. So every time I put a space, it'll say the prior word. If you turn speak keys as you type on, and leave speak words as you type on, it'll say whatever letter you're typing, and it'll also speak words when you put spaces. And you can change these settings and tailor them to your liking. And I'm just going to leave them. This is the default. I'm going to leave them as they are now, so you can just take a look at how this works. So I'll just type some kind of sentence.
Hi.
I'll turn up my volume.
Mom. How are you?
And what you'll notice is that when I'm typing words, something that people have complained about actually in the Proloquo to Go app that Abilipad fixes, it has very fast word recognition. So if I wanted to type something and I didn't want to have to type out the whole word, chances are that it will show up above the keyboard as a suggestion. And if I wanted to pick any of these, if I wanted to say different, I wouldn't have to type it out because it shows up.
Different.
And that turned out to be an awkward sentence. But that's basically Abilipad. So it's a communication app, but keep in mind that there are a lot of ways that you can use it creatively that you can't do with some other kind of AAC apps. And I really like it, and there's a link to the full review in the description written by my friend Marty. And I think that you should check it out, and thanks for watching.